Welcome to kinser'skeep. On today's episode, we'll be going over what steps you should take to make great cocktails.
This is the order of operations.
Nice. So why are the order of operations important? That's simple. Whether you're making one cocktail or 100, following these steps will help you build them with confidence and control. Now, this is extremely important even if you have no interest in becoming a professional bartender. Now, I like to build my cocktails from either cheapest to most expensive ingredients or from least to most volume. So, let's get our cocktails in order. Let's say our task is to create 2 different cocktails. I want a Manhattan, but Aysha wants a blackberry mojito. No problem. One of those cocktails is stirred and the other is shaken. Our first step is to focus our attention on the stirred cocktail. So let's grab our mixing glass and add our ingredients for our Manhattan. That's going to be 2 dashes of Angostura bitters, 1 ounce of sweet vermouth, and then we're going to end that with 2 ounces of Wild Turkey rye whiskey. Gorgeous. Now that our stirred cocktail is built, let's add copious ice. This is also the time to chill down your glassware with water and ice, but since I chill mine in the freezer, I'm gonna wait till the very end. You can also wait till the very end to add ice into the mixing glass, but if you do that, just know you'll be stirring and shaking at the same time. And since we're beginning, my advice would be to add the ice now. That way, while we're building our shaken cocktail, this stirred cocktail is slowly diluting. But remember, anytime you add ice to a cocktail, a countdown begins. So let's move with purpose through the rest of the steps. You now have 5 minutes until this cocktail dies. Now let's shift our focus to our shaken cocktails. The next step means add muddled ingredients. That would be herbs, berries, or spices. You could also use this step as a time to add bitters if your cocktail calls for it. This blackberry mojito I'm making calls for mint and blackberries. So let's do it. Step 3 is all about the egg white. 1 egg white per cocktail is more than enough. This measures out to be 1 ounce per egg white. But this blackberry mojito doesn't call for any egg white. So guess what? I can move on to the next step. Step 4 means it's time to add our citrus or fruit juices. This cocktail calls for 3/4 of an ounce of lime juice. That's done. And remember, fresh juice is always best. Now's the time for sugar. This includes, but is not limited to, syrups, cordials, and liqueurs. I'm going to need a full ounce of simple syrup for this mojito, so let's add that at this time. Gorgeous. By the way, how's that stirred cocktail looking? Looking good. Let's keep going. This is the moment to muddle those cocktails that contain herbs, berries, and spices. You know, the ones we were talking about earlier. But make sure you do it with syrup and citrus only. Never booze. If you muddle booze, you can bruise it or dull its flavor. If your cocktail doesn't call for any muddled ingredients or any muddling, you can skip to the next step. I'm gonna muddle my blackberries and mint. Lucky number 7. Step 7 means booze has entered the party. Most cocktails call for booze to be added at this point, so go for it. And we need 2 ounces of Havana Club white rum. Marvelous. Now, let's shake things up. This is the time to add ice to your shakers if your cocktail calls for it. Shake soft, medium, or hard, or whip shake, depending on what cocktail you're making. For this mojito, I'm gonna add ice to the shaker and medium shake for 5 to 10 seconds.
Here we go.
Now, let's strain both of our cocktails. As we've been preparing our shaken cocktail, our stirred cocktail has been diluting or melting, so they both should be just about ready to strain. So check it out. You might not even have to stir. You know you don't have to stir if your liquid line in your mixing glass has risen about an inch. But if you still think you need to stir, that's okay. Give it no more than 30 rotations around the glass with your bar spoon. Now for our chilled glassware. Let's do the strainer things and enter the upside down. Now's the time for the garnish. Whatever yours may be, this is that time. Make sure you garnish quickly though, because you want to enjoy that cocktail within its peak enjoyment time, which is about a minute from when it's strained. So I know my blackberry mojito gets a mint sprig and my Manhattan gets a Luxardo maraschino cherry. Let's get it. Two different cocktails, just like that.
Sour Bub, Collins, Ricky Fizz, Flip, Daisy Smash, Cobbler Fix, Julep, Custom Made, yeah, let's run it back.
This concludes the order of operations. Remember, even if you're only making one cocktail, follow these steps to conquer any recipe that comes your way. Now let's drink. Cheers.
Cheers.
Mine's better.
Baby, you're a mystery. Do you wanna grab a drink with me? I'll even let you sit for free. Maybe you need a like for me.